City Jazz Sessions is about great music, arts, and entertainment. We are located in St. Louis, Missouri, and available to performance art lovers.
I don't know, we're not hearing the intro.
Follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Twitter. You can email us at cityjazzsessions@gmail.com.
All right. Hey, everybody. How are you? So we're here with a dear friend, long-time old colleague, comrade, soldier in the trenches. And I noticed, I don't know, I guess we didn't change the floater underneath, but, Okay. So are we ready? Did that go out what I did? Hey, we're hot. See how this technical stuff works? First of all, I want everybody to give a warm welcome, my St. Louis people and people from around the world, to the great Eric Person. He's an alto saxophonist, soprano. He plays all kinds of things. He's an incredible composer, producer, father. He's been around. He's played with some of the greats, and I'm going to let him talk about that a little bit later. But we're just happy and proud that he's had the time to come up and meet with us. And everybody knows my co-host, Laka. And
hey, y'all.
So, we're going to get started and want to introduce Mr. Person just to say a quick hello. And then we're going to bombard him with all kind of stuff just to catch up with the brother because we ain't seen him in a while.
Yeah. Well, thank you for having me. It's wonderful to be here. I like you guys' platform and appreciate you all contacting me because it'd be great to tell at least part of the story, my story, our story.
So, Laka, did you have anything you wanted to say to Eric?
Yeah, we're just really excited to, talk to you today. And of course, I've been listening to all your albums and I just can't wait to get into some of this music. But I know you and Ronnie have a long history. So I kind of want to hear what he has to share. And I know he has a couple surprises. So take it away, Ronnie.
Okay, so before we get into that, I need our brother Warren in the background to pull up that thing that has a whole bunch of pictures on one thing. I guess you called it a photo template that has all of the stuff on it from the film. And then I want to get a big laugh out of Mr. Person because I don't know if he knows I got all this stuff.
Okay.
And we'll also describe it as Warren gets it pulled up for the people who are just listening on the audio version too.
Oh yeah, we're gonna get to that. Nah, that ain't the one I was talking about, but do you remember that, Eric?
Yeah, I actually have a copy of that somewhere. Yeah.
Oh, you do? Oh, shucks, I wanted to surprise you, but
well, I mean, I run across it every once in a while. I'm like, well, that was a project that didn't happen.
Right.
Yeah.
And I was trying to remember what exactly we were doing that shoot for. Before we don't change it, Warren, because I want to also talk about the other people in it. But do you remember the circumstances?
I think it was like an idea, I mean, actually, like it might have not even been fleshed out that much, but maybe you suggested getting pictures first,
right.
At least so we have it, but when we
right.
get, but I think it was like going to be kind of like a St. Louis kind of all-star kind of group that, at least came back to St. Louis and did some other performances together, something like that. It was a good idea,
Yeah, and I think we should revisit it. I mean, I don't know how much. Let me first tell everybody that's Eric Person when he was lean and mean, and that's the great Kelvin Bell who we've had.
Oh
yes. I don't know who that dude in the middle is, and then the brother here in the hat is my uncle Rasul Sadiq, awesome trumpeter. He lives in Paris now. The reason why I said I don't know if this particular thing can work because right now he's dealing with some health issues. We need prayers. But he's been there for several years. He's worked with all types of people, Archie Shepp and David Murray and Henry Threadgill and all types of wonderful people. And then on the side there is Greg Osby, who you guys know I just brought home. And Greg is also an incredible instrumentalist. But yeah, we'll show another one later. But this is one that I didn't know existed. Actually, I forgot about it.
Good. Okay.
Yeah, I forgot about it. Huh?
What year is this picture from?
This got to be the late 80s, I think. Right, Eric?
Yeah, I would think so. Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is in the late 80s because this is before you had your record deal. And I know your record deal, I think, was 92.
92.
The first one. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this got to be the late 80s. But
okay.
we was all dapper down and we was going to do something. So I think I'm going to revisit that because I think it's time for it, especially with the new changes and things going on in St. Louis. And it would be dynamic, us getting home together, doing something. Yeah.
Definitely.
So you have some new music, Eric? You got a new release that just came out or something like that?
Not yet. Actually, next year is when the next CD's coming out. It's just going to be called Blue Vision, and it features Houston Person on it. So this is actually a dream project of mine, and I'm glad we could make it happen because we actually first started doing performances we first performed together back in 2009. And we did Dizzy's a couple of years ago, and we tried to make some other things happen, but the weather didn't want to make it happen.
Right.
And then we got contacted to do a festival this year, and Houston already had a booking, so we're going to do it next year. So it's actually going to be a lot of stuff around that release, and so we're very excited. Yeah, very excited. Yeah.
Why don't you bring us up to speed right quick? Is it your what label is this on? Are you doing it on your independently now, or did you go back to a label? Or
no, I'm still doing things on my own label. Distinction Records, and this would be my 10th or 11th as a leader. And so unless something says try and get it to somebody else, I'm going to release it on my own. So I'm actually going to try and go all out with the promotion, radio, to try and, get it further,
Yeah. I have a question because I think the first record I did with you, let's just run through the labels you were on and what drove you to do it on your own, because I got my next one coming out it's like my 11th as well on my label. And the one prior to this was collaborative with Truth Revolution Records.
Okay.
But anyway, we all have different journeys as to why we do things on our own and from other labels. I think it'd be interesting you bring us up to speed in terms of your releases, how you came to this point.
Well, I mean, my first 3 CDs were on Solo Note Records.
That's right.
Out of Italy, yeah. And I had high expectations for the release in terms of what they were going to do. They were saying they were going to do certain things. They never did it. So I remember I was Gary Bartz had said, release it on your own, and I think Charles Tolliver might have said the same thing, and after much thought, I said, I think I'm going to do that. And I've kind of did that for since 1999. My first CD was called Extra Pressure. So so only 3 was on their label, and then the rest have been on mine.
Awesome. Okay, you said high expectations. I remember how did it go? Great Expectations. That tune.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah, that's a great tune.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, that tune I've recorded since, but that record that you're on, the first one called Arrival, it was really a great start, actually I recorded the second CD that I released called Prophecy was actually the one I recorded first. And because what happened was it's mainly solo, duo, and trio cuts. But the label said that they thought I should do a group release first. So this was kind of this was kind of done in conjunction with actually Chico Hamilton's manager. He funded the releases. So we basically just went back in the studio and recorded Arrival, and then released that first, and then released Prophecy next.
Right.
It's all a learning experience, like just, releasing music and all that stuff. And so I did decide to do a third release, and that's when they made all these promises. And I think the guy who was actually like one of their producers made all these promises, which never was forthcoming. But yeah.
Right.
It was at least fun to, release those records, do them,
Yeah. So for the audience out there who isn't familiar with Chico Hamilton was a great jazz drummer. Gave a lot of people their starts, like Art Blakey did. I know Chico. I have a Cal Jada record with Chico. I can't remember everybody he played with, but he was just all around cool, slick dude. Chico used to slick his hair back well till when he passed away.
Yeah, he did.
He had a process.
But actually, Chico said he was the first one. He was the first guy to wear a ponytail.
Yeah, I believe it. Yeah, so, he's like that,
Yeah.
When I first met Chico, he had high heels on, his hair slicked back, ponytail, Dapper Dan, OG, from that time period.
Yep. Definitely.
So, Laka, did you have something? Because I know you were interested in Eric's music here.
Absolutely. So I listen to music on Spotify, and I think my favorite one that I listened to was, I think it was like Back Against the Wall. I've been sharing it in the
Up Against the Wall. Yeah, that's from Prophecy, actually, the second CD.
Okay. Yeah, and the thing I like about that one is it just, the sax just comes out right away, and it's just not that much else around it, so you really just get to focus on that. And
just the sound.
Yeah, it's just a really like beautiful sound and like calming, and it's just, you can just focus on that like right away. So that was definitely one of my favorites. I think when I was taking a shower, I was listening to Undercurrent.
Oh yeah. Yep, that's from the third CD, More Tales to Tell. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, and that one you can just hear like the ocean and the drums. Like, I mean, I'm sure that's what I was hearing. And I think that the most beautiful thing about jazz, when there are no words, is that you can just hear the music and it can put you in a space and you can imagine it, visualize it without the words. So it's not someone just telling you what to think about it. Like, you just get to feel your way through the song.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I have not used vocals yet, but that is in the plans in near future. Ronnie, it's like you have so many projects, so many things you like want to do, and then you wind up doing something else, and then that other one gets pushed back, and so it's actually with let's say like Bandcamp, you can start releasing stuff a little differently, actually, or cutting things up and sending bonus tracks to your best fans or whatever, so it's a little different time that you can kind of maneuver differently.
Yeah, I'm going to start using my Bandcamp a little bit more myself. Two things right quick. One, can you cue up that MP3? And sorry, I got to turn my phone down. But cue up the MP3, and in 1 second, I just want to talk about it beforehand, because Laka was talking about these, how our music is very visual, and I've been told that about all of my writing. It's like takes people to a place. But this one particular piece here, Eric composition, is one of my favorites from pretty much all my compositions. I don't know if he knows that, but from even the people that I've worked with, because it develops into something. And I've fallen in love with it. I play it in my bands and ensembles now. But let's just listen to a couple of minutes of this piece. But before we do, what do you think it is, Eric?
That's probably gonna be When Morning Comes.
Oh man, how you know? Put it on. That's first I finally asked you for it over the last couple of years.
No. It was one of the. I think we were playing two of my tunes with you, so that was one of them. What was the other one?
Where's the piece?
Where's the piece? Right. Yeah.
With this piece here. Woo.
Yeah, the performance.
Yeah. Yeah, you can fade it one. But yeah, that's one of my favorite pieces, brother.
Yeah.
What was the name of it again?
When Morning Comes. It's on Arrival, my first CD. Ronnie's on that CD. Michael Caine, keyboard, piano. Kenny Davis on bass.
Yeah.
Of course, Ronnie. It was a great band, and we never did any gigs together.
Yeah.
I mean, I know me and you and Kenny did, but Michael Caine, he never was on any gigs with. But yeah. I mean,
yeah.
Great.
Me and KD just played together last week or week before last.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, we stay in touch.
Oh, definitely.
So anyway, man, so I don't know if you knew, but that's one of my favorite pieces. It's up there with some of my Wayne Shorter favorites, you know.
Oh, okay. I'm honored. Thank you, man. Thank you.
Man, no, man. You know. Brother, playing brother.
Yeah.
So let's go. Okay, so let's tell us what you're doing now. Are you what do you got on the horizon? And aren't you teaching somewhere up there?
Yeah. I mean, I've been up at Bard College for a couple of years doing as an adjunct teacher.
Yeah.
Actually, last year I didn't have any students actually, so I'm hopeful to get at least one this year.
Yeah.
But I do a lot of private teaching out of my house and whatever, and so that's invigorating to have some good students. Students that you can have for a few years, and really kind of work with them step by step, and that's great. So I've been doing that. I mentioned Blue Vision, the next CD. So that's I actually just finished mastering it just like 2 days ago, and so it moves to the next step in the process. I also play with a group called.
What's behind Blue Vision? Like I see on all these titles, obviously they mean something. Arrival, Prophecy, More Tales to Tell, Extra Pressure. So what is this new one? What is behind that one?
I mean, one of the tunes is entitled Blue Vision, and Houston liked it as a name for the CD. I liked it, so we decided to go with that. But it's not an official blues record or anything like that. But when I started looking at the titles and the vibe, the blues is really up there, with the expression that we want to put across, and anything else is, like the icing on the cake. But the blues expression in its most expressive form is what we're trying to put across, So Houston's a great blues player, and I've learned a lot from him, just working and talking to him. He's a great guy. And so it's some great playing by everybody. It's organ player Adam Klippel is on it, and he's a phenomenal. Yeah, he's a great player. So yeah, I'm excited to. It's actually gonna maybe surprise some people because it's actually, if somebody wants to call it a mainstream record, that's okay. It's just good music, But how I kind of constructed the CD. I wanted all the music to be under or basically at 40 minutes, just like how the old records used to be. They were all like 39 to 40 minutes. Yeah. And then because I thought it would be a more focused record, because a lot of times when you do CDs, if you have like the whole CD, the 80 minutes, you can actually water down your message, So I thought just doing a 40-minute record would be a direct statement. And so we got a couple of blues numbers, a minor blues, a major blues. We got a couple of standards, and then a couple of things, what I call a departure tune. So instead of it being just like up in that same flavor, it's like a little bit of a departure from that and gives people a little something else. So it's a rounded statement. It's a nice rounded statement.
You said departure. Remember part of departure, Andrew Hill?
Oh yeah. I was listening to that the other day. Yeah, that's great, right?
Yeah. So Eric, man, how old is Orion now?
He is 32.
Woo!
You got to tell him who he is. That's my first son.
Yeah.
And I have a younger son, Caden. He's actually in college now. He's 19. He's the same. Okay. Yeah, he's the same age I was when I moved to New York, actually.
Right.
Wow. So do your kids do music too? Are they musicians or?
Actually, Caden did learn some piano. He's not really that serious about it, but he loves music. He's just not like he's in college learning biology. So
ooh, there you go.
Yeah. It's like you'll have a job. You good.
Yeah, man. So we go back because Alana's 33 now. She's like, I think she was a year older than Orion, yeah. Mm-hmm. And Mika's 23 already. So
wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
But okay, so there was something else I wanted to ask you. What's like during COVID? Well, now the stuff is trying to open up, but we don't know if it's going to go back or what. But do you got any gigs coming up here in the city?
I've been actually very busy. This summer, I actually had a gig today in Midtown, and I had two gigs. I had a gig yesterday and a gig at night, actually at New Blue with another group I work with called Bright Dog Red.
Okay.
Yeah, that's actually an all improv group, and so yeah, I'm pretty busy. So
yeah,
no complaints. I mean, I lost a lot of, like us all. We lost a lot of work last year, but
yeah,
it's been good this year.
Yeah, this year so far for me too, it's been extremely busy. I was working every day up until just like a day or two ago. Because it just all of a sudden, like boom, it opened up, But that year of COVID, when my CD came up, it got Grammy considered or whatever. I had a whole summer in Europe, first time as a leader in several years, and then it just went away. But we just got to pray that people do the right thing. I don't know how your family is in St. Louis, but I was telling Russell last week, and when we were out there with Greg, it's like half of my family ain't taking the virus, the other half took it. So I'm just like
the vaccine.
Yeah, the vaccine. Not taking the virus, the vaccine. Yeah. So I don't know if you got any of them kind of crazy people in your family with all these conspiracy theories, but how do you deal with them?
Well, I mean, it's all very new to us all, so
yeah,
it's great.
Yeah.
But so I feel excited about the future in terms of what I'm doing and doing some new releases and actually re-releasing some CDs that might not have gotten attention and stuff. So I'm trying to actually like work on building a team, and I think that's what maybe people or musicians who are trying to do their own music, they need to think about building a team, a promotions team, a radio team, whoever. And that's going to help you have the success you're looking for. Because until you really do that, it'll be kind of like hit and miss,
Yeah, because there's so much work on your own.
Yeah, exactly.
With your team, I wish you blessings, because team, you have to have people around you that you trust, and also people that you can relinquish some of those things too, because I know with me for a long time, it was hard to just, give it up to somebody because, you're not sure if they're going to do it how you want it done. And like you say, then it becomes kind of hard, very
Yeah.
hard.
I mean, I've had people do, let's say they were booking gigs and they weren't getting it done. And I had to go in and,
right,
seal the deal. I mean, it's like, dude, what do I have you for?
yeah, right. Yeah, I signed at one point with somebody that's supposedly the manager, right? And it's like, okay, you sending them stuff, and like after mom, like, what are you doing? I mean, what's happening? You send them leads. Oh, I'm not the booking agent, I'm the manager. I said, well, what are you doing as the manager? It's crazy. And nowadays it seems like everybody wants everything done for them already. It's like, and it's like, I remember in the day when there were really good people working with you, they did the work. Nowadays, yeah. I don't know what it's, it's a different beast out here.
Well, sometimes it's just the fact that some people want to, they want to be in the business. So sometimes a lot of people like say, oh yeah, I can do that. I want to try that, or, whatever. And if you give them the shot, they're learning that the jazz bit of the music business is about connections. Yeah. It's a lot of calling. It's a lot of time. It's a lot of focus, effort, or you're not going to get any results. And, right. and I think the best people are the ones who like us. We feel the music. They feel the business in that way. So if you can find that kind of person, then it'll be gold. But other than that, you'll get people they can be wishy-washy,
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. So you're talking. Go ahead, Laka.
You moved from St. Louis when you were 19. Was that around the same time Ronnie did as well?
Ronnie, I was already up here. I'm older than him. By a couple minutes.
I mean, Ronnie, you came up in 77, right? 78. Okay, yeah. So I came in 82. He was already up. But yeah, and sometimes, well, let me just go back. I mean, Ronnie has some of the same experiences in that, we played in the jazz groups in high school and played in different bands outside of school. And we actually had a full musical life, doing music during high school and everything. But for me, I'm quite sure it might be for you too. I just felt that I needed, or I wanted to be in a bigger environment. Like it just felt like New York was where I wanted to be. And actually, one of the things that stoked me on those ideas was like reading the liner notes on albums. So all the different records, Jackie McLean records, Woody Shaw records, whoever, I would read, it would be talking about the Blue Cornet in Brooklyn and be like, and it was just exciting when it would be talking about the scene here. And then another thing was this guy named Jim Harrison. He had a paper called the Jazz Spotlight.
Yeah, Jim. Yeah.
Yeah, and I used to get I guess I had a monthly subscription. And so it was I would get this thing and I'm reading it like the New York Times or something. And it's just, again, it's talking about everybody who's playing in the clubs, all the different guys who I respected. I had the records and different things. And so it just felt like the place to be. So I was, doing all I could to study the music and learn the music. And after high school, I took a trip up to New York, and I remember when I came back, I told my father immediately, that's it, 3 months, I'm out of here. And he actually convinced me to stay for a year, save up some money, and then come up. So actually, I did that. I listened to him. You know how sometimes you don't listen to your parents and all that stuff. Well, I listened to them, and so I did that. And I came up on May 17th. I came up on Jackie McLean's birthday, actually. But to make that happen, Ronnie actually was playing a concert at his high school. I waited to go to New York to meet him, and and I remember he was at his high school, and so it was this extravagant, performance and visual display, and it was cool. I met everybody. I think Kelvin was in the band, Joe Ford.
Yeah.
Who was on bass?
Avery.
Oh, Avery was on bass. I met Avery, yeah. And so it actually kind of gave me like a little bit of a cushion coming to New York, because now I knew a few people, and actually my first gig in New York, which I got before I came to New York, was John Hicks Big Band. And I'd actually went and saw John Hicks, I think it was at BB Jazz Blues and Soups, and he gave me his number, and I told him I would give him a call, because I said I had some pieces and I wanted to see if we could play them together. So I did. I went over his house, and after that he said, "Hey man, you want to play in my big band?" And I was like, "Yeah." So yeah, I came up, and the first gigs were at the Public Theater in New York, and it was exciting. It's it was like I'm in it. This is where I'm supposed to be. I got some gigs. I know Ronnie Burrage, and it was great, So outside of the challenges of just trying to get established and making some money and whatever, it was a great time, just having somebody to help you meet musicians. Like me and Ronnie did a lot of hanging out, meeting musicians. And, he always, introduced me to people. So it was great. It was great.
That time period, your father was very supportive of you, man. And I know that he helped you a lot when you were transitioning coming up. And I remember meeting you at the high school, but then, I came back and got to work, and it kind of slipped my mind. But my uncle Michael, he was like, "Man, that young boy, Eric Person, is killing. Well, y'all know he coming to New York. You got to check him out." And so I said, "Oh yeah, I met Eric." And then when you got there, I remember, I think you called me, and you had been staying a little while at the Y, and I said, "Nah, man, come on, stay at my place."
Yeah.
That
was a whole story, because the year before, when I visited New York, me and James Matthews, a piano player, St. Louis guy. Yeah, St. Louis legend. We came up together. So when we came up, we stayed at the YMCA for the week. But at one point, we met two Japanese women, and they were very friendly. It was in Washington Square Park. We were just talking, and next thing you know, they were saying, "Where you guys staying at?" We were saying, "Well, YMCA on 34th Street." It was like, "Yeah, why?" You guys stay with us. So we wound up staying with them. And then after at some point, me and the one lady, I was telling her I was going to come back and move here. And she said, you could stay with me. You can get yourself together, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, wow, this is everything is just lining up. So what happened was, when I got back to New York, I would call her every month. I would just call her once a month. "Hey, how you doing? It's Eric. Yeah, everything's going great. I'm practicing a lot. I'm studying with a new teacher and everything. I'm getting ready." And so she would say, "Everything's great. You can still stay here." And I would, just make sure everything was cool. And so I did that every month. And the month that I was leaving, May, the day before I left, was moving to New York, I guess on May 16th. I called her up. I said, "Hey, Eric Person here, moving to New York, just like I told you. I'm leaving tomorrow. What's your address? Just want to everything." "Oh, well, you can't stay here." "What? What are you talking about? We've been talking for a year about this, And so
the Big Apple letdown.
What's that?
The Big Apple letdown.
Yeah, exactly. So actually, I just turned 19, so I was just like, I was crying and stuff, man. But I was just like, no, this ain't. I ain't letting this. My dream is not dying with this person saying no. So I got on. I actually was lying to my folks, telling them that I was still staying with her. I gave them her number, and I told them I would call them after I got to New York. But they had already called her, and she was hanging up on them and stuff. So at one point I had to call them and say, hey, listen, everything's cool. I got another, I'm staying somewhere else because that didn't work out. And they were cool, but it was really a jive move. But I guess it was a test, you know. A lot of things are just tests. You know, we might say, oh, that was messed up. It's a test. Either you pass or you don't. And what I did was I got a one-way ticket to New York because I said, I'm not coming back. You know, this is the way I manifest this to be reality. So I said I wasn't coming back. I got the one-way ticket, bus ticket. And when I got to Port Authority, I came out of the Port Authority. I saw the first cab, flagged it down. I said, take me to the nearest YMCA. And so I stayed at the YMCA, which is actually a nice YMCA on like 63rd Street or something. And that's when I was calling Ronnie every day. Hey man, let me stay at your place there. You know, so it was cool. It was definitely an adventure. You know, New York. You know, that's one thing about New York. And I think you can attest to this. It's like you can have an adventure almost every day. You know, you can get yourself into a lot of trouble, or you could meet somebody and they're like eccentric or something, and you know it could lead somewhere. It could be all kinds of things, but you know, definitely New York of old was definitely a place you could find a lot of adventure.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, we're just so lucky to have, you know, found that adventure on the stage, you know, because that's where we was looking to do. And actually, you know, a lot of the music that I've been able to release over the years actually comes from a period like that after I got settled in New York, I bought some like a keyboard, some recording equipment. And I used to, if I wasn't hanging out on the scene or whatever, and the rare gig, but I was always writing. I was always composing. I was always experimenting. You know, I would get some effects units, you know, just trying out, you know, different sounds and different things, you know, to just kind of grow as an artist. And a lot of that music that I wrote was so good, I was able to mine it for many years. Actually, I'm still mining it. Like I still have a lot of the tapes too, because I did them on a four-track recorder. And sometimes I'll just listen to it too, and I'll be like, oh, that's a great melody. Let me jump in this thing and see what I can, you know, turn it into right now. So it's that that journey, that excitement that music has is endless. You know, it doesn't have to be some totally new thing that you write now. You can go back and transform something, and that's what's exciting.
And you know, the beauty about that thing, like you're saying, like that, what inspired us too to write like that is the adventures that we went through and that we knew other people went through, and just living in this constant like high vibe. It's always something happening here, like always. So you get inspired. You know, you go home in the middle of the night after a gig or something, and you start writing. Or, you know, you don't have a gig, but that inspiration is always there. And it's funny because you're talking about, you know, I got a bunch of tunes. It's like I never did record. I never did tour them. I mean, I might have recorded them and we didn't get to tour the band, you know. And so I've been in that mode too the last few years, is kind of revisiting some of that stuff, you know. I mean, and in the midst of revamping them, all of that same energy is still there because it makes you remember something. But then it gets compounded with what's going on today. So you could just expand what's happening with it. It's a beautiful thing, music. I mean, you know, it's like, it's what I want to say to anybody out there, don't ever throw away any of your ideas. If you have them somewhere, just let them sit. You know, when you get back to them, you might say, wow, that's heavier than what I thought it was, you know?
Well, you know, I'm glad you said that, because actually I got a grant to write some music last year, and I was able to perform it in December. And one of the tunes, I found like a progression, like just some chords that I never used. I just sat at the piano. I was like, oh, okay, I'm liking this. I'm finding like a little little center to what was going on with the chords. And so
Right.
I wound up writing a melody over it, and that tune turned out to be this tune that a lot of people seem to like. It's called Lonely Playground. And yeah, I wrote that about like I passed a playground during like after the lockdown first happened, and it was just like no kids in the playground, and it was just like it was sad, like just thinking about what we were going through, and there was no kids, and so I wrote that song based on that feeling, you know. So a lot of people seem to like that tune, so we get that out there. Yeah.
I
Nice.
remember thinking it was so eerie not to, see kids on the playground. It was just such an eerie feeling.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I have I'm gonna redo. Actually, Eric is on one of my first records, playing some. I think it's got one solo on it, and then he did some background parts. He did an arrangement on one of the pieces. You remember that record with Kenny and Andy McLeod, and Terry Gonzalez?
I thought you didn't have those tapes.
Huh? I have the tapes. I don't have the reels. They're still in the studio. I got I contacted a lawyer. He's got the only way I can get them is if he goes out there, because Vanguard Studios is telling me that I was a Vanguard on their list. I said, no, I just rented the studio. So they took my tapes because I only paid for half of them. And now they won't give them back to me. And, Jimmy Cobb told me kind of the same story. He said that happened to him because he used that studio on 23rd Street. You remember Vanguard Studios?
Oh, yeah.
And
That was a big room.
yeah. And he never released it, but they took the tapes and said he was an artist. So he had to get a lawyer to go out there to get the tapes.
Wow.
So, yeah. And the thing is they moved to California. So, I as soon as I get some money, I'm going to do it. But in the meantime, I have good enough remixes of what I had on the cassette. You could kind of hear it messed up, but I gave it to some people, and it's pretty cool. I think it's good enough for me to put out on Bandcamp, at least a few of it, because first of all, it's historic. You're on it. Kenny Kirkland, Joe Ford, Andy McLeod, Jerry Gonzalez, Marvin Horn. No, not Marvin Horn. Kelvin Bell and Kevin Eubanks.
Kelvin was on it?
Yeah, Kelvin and Kevin both played on Celestial Moods. Remember?
Oh, okay. Yeah. I do remember. Yeah.
So I'm gonna do that. Huh?
I still got a cassette of it, and every time I would listen to it, I was like, damn shame. It's a damn shame. I mean, it was all of us in our beginning, and then Wallace Ronnie,
Yeah, Wallace is on it. Yeah.
Joe Ford, so it was just like, it was like the next generation of guys, at the kind of like the beginning, Yeah.
But it's not too late, man. I'm like, I had to get over that because I was really bitter for a long time, but it's life went on, other things happened, and children and all kind of stuff. So
now,
when it's right, it's going to be right.
What was the shame about it?
That it should have been released.
Yeah.
Oh,
okay. Got it. Because it was such a good work.
No, you hear that record, Laka, you could be like, oh, wow. Because it's some powerful music on it.
Yeah, and it was different. I think, with you have to understand when Ronnie recorded that music, the Winton conservative movement was moving through the music. It was just like, oh, we just want to do standards. We only want to hear standards. And so it was almost like you had the Miles side. Miles was doing electric, so he was giving that validity. And then you had Winton, who was given traditional playing, acoustic playing, validity. And actually, you remember that was the period like when guys would be like playing acoustic bass and talking about they don't want to play through an amp and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So Ronnie's music actually was a good blend of traditional elements, acoustic and electric, and it was fresh, because Kenny Kirkland, he was a great player. And what was that tune he recorded? That was a great tune.
Oh, Midnight Silence.
Okay, yeah, great tune.
That was the first. We did the first thing, just me and him duet.
And didn't he do another version with Wynton?
Not with Wynton, but on his record.
Okay.
I don't know if it's Wynton, but no, but it was on whatever his record he did. That's
Okay.
completely different from my original.
Yeah. But yeah, so it was great. It was nice.
Yeah.
And I was happy to be a part of it. I mean, shoot. I mean, it was. I was just trying to lend what I was doing. Actually, that was the first record or recording that I played sopranito on, E flat soprano. It's higher than usual.
I didn't even know that.
B flat, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it was cool.
So you said you have 11 records, Eric?
As a leader, I think this next one is either 10th or 11th. Yeah, I think it's going to be the 11th. Yeah.
So how do you feel like, or do you feel like your music has changed from, the first? I know the album covers have changed dramatically.
No doubt.
Style.
Yeah.
And so you guys have to go check out his album covers on wherever you get your music. But those have definitely changed in style over the years since 1993. But do you feel like, what do you feel has changed with your music, or has anything changed? Tell us a little bit about that.
I think you can hear my growth as an artist. I actually have always liked when I've been able to hear, like, let's say an artist does his first release, you see some change and growth in his second, third, fourth, and then you might see a big blow up of something, development or some new concepts by the fifth, sixth. I like to see that out of an artist. It doesn't have to be perfect. Matter of fact, it can be a little messy even, like where you might say, why did you release that? But sometimes it's a story behind all this, it usually is a story behind the music. So for me, I've actually tried to kind of keep almost like I'm looking at a timeline, I mean, I don't know what's there, but I'm kind of thinking like, okay, I started here. I actually did this. Okay, I don't want to do that again. So I want to do this next thing. And actually it's kind of like when you look at, when I got to Thoughts on God, that's my large ensemble record. I started dedicating some of the music to like dream projects. So I did Thoughts on God, and then I did The Grand Illusion, which was an electric project. And then I did a duo record with a drummer I liked, Shinosuke Takahashi. And so I'm off doing another dream project with Blue Vision. So, I think, if you look at somebody's discography, it should be interesting. You shouldn't say like, oh yeah, that guy, he only did quartets, acoustic quartets. You know what I mean? It should be like some variances. It should be colorful. It should be like far, reaching and a lot of different nuances, so that's kind of where I look at what I want to release. I don't ever want to kind of do the same thing over and over,
Right.
Yeah, that's in our spirit, being adventurous like that. I'm sorry, Laka, go ahead.
There's some spirituality like tones in some of the record names. Obviously you said Thoughts on God, but even
Prophecy.
just Prophecy. Yeah, tell us a little bit. What's that about?
Wait, but while he's telling us about that, Warren, pull up that picture with all of those pictures in it, all of the test sheet. Go ahead, Eric. You can tell us.
Well, I mean, my grandfather actually, he was a church minister, and he actually built his own church in St. Louis. So I used to go to his church as a kid and a young adult. I mean, not a young adult, a teenager. And so that has an effect on me, my thinking, how I try and live. And so I do have quite a few tunes that reflect back to that. And actually, the Thoughts on God music was music I wrote I actually wrote it in between 84 and 85. and I always saw it as a large ensemble project. But it was just like, you know, once I started getting established, working with all the guys I was working with, it was like, I remember I would pull out the tapes and I would listen to it. I was like, man, I got to do this music. But it wasn't until like everybody started crowdfunding, you know, through Kickstarter and these things, that I said, you know what, I think this is the time to get this project funded. So that project, or that CD, actually got funded through Kickstarter.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so
that's the wrong picture, Warren. You showed that already. I'm sorry. That's the wrong picture too, but you remember that?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, those are from Arrival. Yeah.
Yeah.
Some of those made it to Arrival. I'd have to look at it closer.
Now, the funny part about that is I think it's the one down on the second row when he was trying to go shirtless.
Almost shirtless.
And I know that I know where that came from. That came from my ex. She's the mother of my second daughter, because she's always trying to get somebody to take off their shirt. She's a photographer who was doing it. She likes to do those kind of photos.
Yeah.
But she took some great shots of you, man. I have the I don't know if you have the copies and contacts, but I want to send you all of that because I have copies of them. And they just got to me.
Yeah, I actually think I still have that.
Okay. Well, let me know if you don't. I'll get it to you.
Now, what is the actual ensemble that you're wearing? Is this, what kind of garb is this? And we're talking about the cover for his Arrival record.
Yeah, that was actually an African print. And actually, a lady I'd met her and she said she would put this thing together. So actually the day of the photo shoot was the day I went over her place and picked it up, and I was like, what's going on here? This is not the right length. I told you I wanted it down to, I actually designed it, you know. So I was like, this is not the right length. So you might can see it. It's like the bottom of the top jacket. It looks like another section was added, which was what it was. I can't remember if I didn't pay her all the money or something like that, but I never used her again because that wasn't nice.
But man, I don't know why, because that was a nice. It was killing back then. I thought it was nice.
I still have it. I still have it. Yeah, I kept that because it was very unique, and it was yeah. I mean, I got a few African things that I pull out occasionally. Like I was playing with this guy, Chris Uris, over in Europe, and his band was like part African, and so I would wear some of those things with that group too, you know. Yeah.
But I thought you'd get a kick out of seeing that. I think I was out of town when y'all took that photo shoot because I was trying to hang out, but I had a gig or something. You did it up at it was a park.
It was up at Manhattanville Park, I guess it was. You know, on 110th Street.
I thought that was Edgecombe Park.
Is that the name of it?
I think so. It's off of Edgecombe, right? Up there, maybe. About 100, across 110th Street, around 116th or something. Right. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Beautiful park. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That was a nice photo shoot, though.
It was, and actually that waterfall that you see we don't have the picture here, but there was a waterfall behind me. It seemed like that waterfall, they didn't keep it going or something, and it dried up.
Yeah, it dried up. Yeah.
But I mean,
go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just saying I got all of this stuff from the old memory banks because it's funny because Colette calls me about a month ago, said I got all this stuff in my basement and I didn't even realize it was there. I'm like, what? So I go and pick up all of this stuff, and it's half of the set. You remember that set that Art Blakey gave me?
Oh wow, was it
yellow?
It's
half of that set.
Orange. Was it orange?
Yeah, orange, purplish, kind of funny looking pearl. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Wow.
So it's that in the original cases. They got Art Blakey stickers all over from the world tours and stuff. And it's got half of that Tama set that was busted. That's why Boo gave it to me. So I said, well, I'm gonna take all this stuff anyway, because for some you know, it's for historical archives too, because it's pretty amazing. But I got pictures of all of these shoots that she did, because she got hooked up. She did a lot of shoots for a lot of my friends in the business, Joe Locke and quite a few other people who were doing records.
Oh, cool. Yeah. That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was thinking about something you said. It'll come back to me. Yeah, but no, that was. Oh, what's that?
I was just gonna say you were releasing, it looked like albums every 2 to 3 years, and then the last one that I see is 2015.
Yeah.
So, what was your reason behind, you know, waiting until
I'm
now?
just getting a little more, or let's just say I was in a period where I was being a little more selective, you know. Because you know what it is, it's very easy to say, hey, you know, I'm excited about these musicians I'm playing with. Let's go in the studio, and or let's say, oh, this was a great gig. I'm gonna release this recording. It's very easy to do that, and I just felt like I wanted to just be just a little more, just slow my movement down a little bit. But actually, like I was mentioning, because I'm starting to get a backlog of quite a few things. I'm starting to think like I'm gonna have to figure out how I'm gonna do this, you know, to get some of this stuff out, you know. But the Houston person, you know, Blue Vision, that's next for sure. Nothing's gonna jump, you know, jump over it, you know. I have a nice session with John Esposito, piano player. He's on it.
Oh, John.
Yeah, and he was asking me when I'm gonna release it. I was like, yeah, I think it might be next after Blue Vision, but then I've been looking to do something else with something else that I'm doing. I've been thinking like, oh.
But you know what? Now you said something I'm gonna have to contradict, because for you it might be easy to say, oh yeah, I'm gonna go in the studio and record this band. But for me, it's like, where am I gonna get the money?
No, listen, that is the issue. That is the issue, you know.
So sometimes for me, it takes time for me to accumulate the proper money or to get the funding and the support and figure out how I can do it. Because we're not like pop people with record labels and a budget that has, you know, we got 10 records on the slate and all that kind of stuff. For us, it's hard work, boy.
Oh yeah. But the other thing about it too is that, I mean, you can have like different goals, you know, when you release a record. Like you might just say, okay, I want this documented, it's part of my legacy, all that stuff. Or you could say, hey, you know, I want this music to be heard as far as I can. So I got to get it, you know, what I was mentioning earlier, this team. I got to get I'm doing a full radio campaign, doing a full press, you know. So that actually, if you figure that into everything, not just the recording, the mixing, the mastering, you're adding basically another 10 grand, you know. So if you don't want to do that and you're just like, hey man, I just want to record this, press it up, and I'm just going to give it out to all my family and friends and the best fans, you can do that. Yeah. But if you really want your music to like try and make a, you know, a giant step, let's just say, you know, promotion, publicity does that, you know, so it is something to consider, you know.
Yeah.
Eric, you sent Warren some music. Let's listen to a piece or a little bit of a piece, because we're gonna start winding down. But I want to get in a couple things you wanted us to hear.
Okay. Y'all can play if you're asking me.
Oh yeah. I think you sent them like 3 pieces or something, right?
Yes.
3 or 4 pieces. Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, why don't you all play the And Then There Was Light. That's from Toss on God. That's it's a short piece.
Oh, that's okay. While he's getting it queued up, when you going back home, you got anything to say?
You know, everybody's getting older
Uh-oh. Sounds weird. Let's fade it on out.
Wait a minute.
Eric, who's the personnel? I heard vibes in there.
Yeah. Actually, let me see.
You don't even remember.
No, I don't want to forget anybody.
Okay.
So Craig Bailey, he's on alto and flute. Patience Higgins, he's on tenor and clarinet. Sylvester Sly Scott, he's on tenor and flute. Scott Robinson, he's on baritone sax. James Zoller on trumpet. Dwayne Eubanks on trumpet.
Yeah.
Got a couple of trombonists, Curtis Hasselbring and Isria Butler. And then Brian Carrot on vibraphone, who you mentioned. Adam Clipper on piano, Adam Armstrong on bass, and Shinosuke Takahashi on drums.
Nice. All-star band.
Oh yeah, definitely.
All-star band. That's one of the things you're talking about, stuff we got on the shelf, man. I got a bunch of big band tunes of mine. I want to figure out how to get that done. I touched on the surface on the last record on one piece, where I had a full horn section. And then on this next record that's forthcoming, I got two pieces. Well, I recorded one piece with full horns, but it's not like a big band type thing, you know. But I have two other pieces where I have horn sections and strings and the whole orchestra. So I'm just trying to figure out how to get that recorded before the end of the year. So got to get that dough.
Okay.
You know, but yeah, man, beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Grants. We got to get these grants going, you know.
Yeah, you know, I got a grant. I'm actually in the middle of one now. I'm doing a festival. You know, I do most of the grants I get are doing stuff in the community with my nonprofit and my production company. So I have a grant now where I'm doing 3 Saturdays. It starts August 21st, and then September 18th, and then October 23rd. And they're in the Shonda and I are committee members of this community garden. So there are festivals there. Okay. I have 2 acts. I have a youth group going to do some spoken word with the DJ. I have a dancer kind of exercise person that starts in the morning for the festival, and then we have artists and some comedy. So most of the grants I've been doing have been going to things like that for the community. But yeah, I just wrote one up, hoping to get something for some compositions, and so I can finish this recording. Actually, I wrote something came across my table, so I'm praying to God I get that to finish this recording, get the symphony. I mean, symphonic stuff recorded on there. So
Okay.
but it's a process, man. It's a lot to do. Yeah.
No doubt, definitely, no doubt.
Yeah. Let's play something else. Let's play something else before we wind it down.
Okay. What's one of the other ones? Oh, you know what? I sent one called Tyner Town. Actually features Ingrid Jensen on trumpet too.
Okay.
Make sure you check all of these albums out wherever you find music from.
Yeah, it's everything is up on Spotify, Bandcamp, and they can go through my website too to get to those links. EricPerson.com. Yep.
Make sure we have all of those links, because when we do the things before it goes out on YouTube and stuff, we can add those.
Oh, okay, cool.
This is going out live, but we have other things, people can view it at other times, so we can add those things.
Okay.
I'm going to add the shirtless photo. Okay, let's hear this one. What's this one called?
Tyner Town.
Oh, from McCoy?
Yeah.
I think the sound is down. Go back to the beginning. Did it's been about a month ago now, a tribute to McCoy, Avery Sharp project. Is really nice.
Oh, it was Avery's project.
Oh, it's good, man. It's got Joe and Helen Sung and Steve Teray and me on it, and I think on the other side it's got Tane and some other folks on it.
I thought it was I saw that. I thought it was your record.
No, that's his. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. And the one we did a couple of years ago, like right before COVID hit, is really nice. It's called 400. Of course, talks about the 400 years of slavery, but he has it broken down in time segments with the music. It's really nice.
Well, the thing is that, one thing, I'm gonna make a surprise for you right now. Okay. Uh-oh. So hold on, just 1 second.
Oh, why don't you come back and present a bill, something I owe him?
Yeah. They're there.
No, they ain't.
I mentioned to you that I had a gig the other day at Smalls Jazz Club in New York with a quartet I put together with Ralph Alessi on trumpet and Adam Armstrong on bass and Daryl Green on drums. And actually, an old friend of ours came to the gig named Donnie Van Meter.
Oh,
and, yeah. And so actually, he gave me a packet of pictures. And so after I got home, I looked at the pictures, and so it's a few I'm gonna just put up so you could see, and maybe you could tell me where this was at, you know? Okay, all right.
And, oh man, that's 7th Avenue South, Burrage South, Marcus Miller, Kenny,
okay,
and yeah.
Well, let me. Okay, yeah. So this is another one with Marcus.
Yeah, wow, look at that.
I wish I could, yeah. I wish I could, show cleanly, but actually this is a good one because this one has Joe Ford and myself and then Jerry Gonzalez.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Is that's from 7th Avenue too?
Yeah, it's all the same gig, yeah.
Oh man. That was the first Burrage ensemble.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, he gave me quite a few of them, so it's I can easily share those. Oh, here's a good one.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice. You look a little bit like Eric Dolphy right there.
You're right. The plaid shirt, right? So it was cool. It was a nice surprise. And it's funny. It's so easy to forget, certain. Like I know when you think about a certain year, you might think about, oh, I remember I did this and I did this, but you had this in that tune, and sometimes you forget about that stuff, or not forget about it, but it's not as clear on what maybe because like when I remember the first year I came to New York, Ronnie had a gig in D.C. and it was supposed to be Winton on the gig and Branford couldn't make it. And so Ronnie asked me to do it, and actually we got a really good review out of it. You remember?
No.
Oh, you don't? See?
I don't remember the review.
Clear example. You forget like these little things. Yeah, no, it was at what was that club called?
Blues
One
Alley?
Step Down. One Step
Down.
Oh,
One Step Down, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Avery Kenny.
Yeah, do you have it, that review?
I should have it. I should have that. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
If you got a copy, man, I'd appreciate it. Also, don't forget to give me Donnie's number too.
Yeah.
But the other thing about that time, stuff was moving so fast. We were doing a lot of stuff, and you might not realize, but we did a lot of stuff. I mean, it was a lot going on. Mm-hmm. I mean, and even if we weren't physically playing with folks, we were involved. There was a lot of stuff going on. Them gigs at Lush Life with Hicks too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The big band,
yeah, man.
And I was thinking about that the other day because that was I think the last gig that I saw Jim Pepper, the great tenor player.
Wow, yeah, man. Wow.
Yeah, he was a great cat. And actually, what else was I thinking about that? I mean, we got a good review out of that. I remember the guy, he's still alive, Royal Stokes.
Oh, yeah.
He wrote that. And I remember he said that I combined caressing lilt with rambunctious wailing.
That's good. That means you got the whole gamut.
Yeah, exactly. So, so it was cool. It was very cool. And, it was an exciting time, it was like you said, it was a lot going on, and it led to some other things, because I met Joe Ford, at that time, and I wanted to be in a sub with McCoy's big band for him, and so that's dream come true, I got a chance to go out of town, a couple of times. I did a gig at Newport with McCoy, and actually it was raining while we were playing. Right, so I never forget that. It was just surreal in a way,
Yeah. Hey, Eric, man, what I want to thank you for giving us this time.
Yeah.
Thank you for being with us, and beautiful stories and beautiful music. And of course, you know, we're going to continue this. I want to try to have people back a little later on down the line so we can catch up. And and man, like I said, just good to catch up. We haven't caught up in a while. Good to see you. Good to hear the new music and hear the new things you're doing and everything. And we'll be talking to you again soon, man. Thank you so much.
Sounds good. I appreciate the call, man. You know, it was great. I mean, we haven't done a lot of reminiscing in a while, so it's good to kind of bring it all together. And a lot of people might not know my story. You know, coming to New York at 19, and us, running around New York, hanging, and the gigs that we did, because they were, formative for both of us. And so, yeah, it's great.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And thank you, Warren and Laka and our producer in the background. And thank all of you for tuning in. And we'll talk to you soon, Eric. All right.
All right.
Stay
Thanks
safe
again, everybody. Appreciate it.
All right, brother.
All right.
All right.
Right.
City Jazz Sessions is brought to you by St. Louis City Jazz, a 501c3 company dedicated to music education and appreciation. The CEO is Magic Man 50, and for more ways to connect with City Jazz Sessions, visit cityjazzsessions.wixsite.com/St. Louis. The City Jazz Sessions team includes host, content director, and guest coordinator, jazz great Ronnie Burrage. Follow Ronnie at ronnieburrage.biz. Host, website designer, graphic artist, content director, and guest coordinator, singing sensation Laka. Discover more about Laka at lakamusic.com. Additional production services are provided by Lion's Den Productions. Go to